Greetings YouTube, welcome to Zero AD Newbie Rush. I'm Jim Kogan and today we start a new series of tutorial guides about build orders in Zero AD. Build orders are pretty much the blueprints for how you develop in an RTS game. I tend to liken them to openings in chess. They are a series of deliberate moves that you make to get yourself to a position whereby you can hopefully give yourself a fighting advantage over your opponent. Zero AD is no exception here, but there are a number of different methods you can utilize to achieve different objectives. In this first tutorial, we're going to be looking at perhaps the most basic one, a typical economy build. So focusing purely on economic development, resource gathering, production and upgrading. If you're just starting out in Zero AD, I recommend getting a full understanding of these principles first before you start to experiment with some of the more exotic methods of play, but we will be covering those going forward as well. Before we start, I'd just like to thank Zero AD player and pretty avid channel supporter Weird Jokes for providing this demonstration of his personal variation of an economy builder. We've set him up against a very hard defensive AI on a typical temperate mainland map. Coming up in the next two installments, we'll have Weird Jokes' take on the infamous cavalry and infantry rush build orders. So usual YouTuber mantra here. If you want to see more content like this, as well as weekly commentary on epic Zero AD matches, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the bell to receive notifications as soon as a new episode of Zero AD Newbie Rush drops. Right. Let's get into the action. Here we go then, it's Weird Jokes economy build order. Let's see how he does it. Weird Jokes is playing as the Carthaginians. Not everybody's first choice, but certainly seems to be a favourite for him. But this does scale to other civs. We'll notice that he started with 4 women. Immediately going on to farming. They've got the farming upgrades. 6 women out of the CC first go and another 2 queued up, and all of them have piled into wood collection near the CC. If you have a wood line near the CC, take advantage of it. It is very useful. One other unit has gone off and has started a lone furrow over here to build a storehouse next to the most viable wood line. Could have gone for this one, has gone for this one. You'll notice first house is going up. He's got everybody building this, so that went up around about a minute or so. Population already at 24, and then everybody abandons that wood line and heads over here. He's left a handful here. There's 4 women there. Also looking at another 4 women coming out of the CC. There they go. He's not using auto train. He is now. Set it to 5, but I think that will reset. He'll run out of resources before long. The cavalryman has finished collecting the chickens. That will probably attempt to do some scouting or some hunting. We have hunt over here. There's quite a bit of hunt on this map as well. If you get the temperate biome, you'll notice that Weird Jokes does something that Valorant often does, which is sending an infantry unit to scout the local base. I tend to play with the Britons and I use the attack dog for that quite often, but use a slinger or an archer. They move faster, much faster than like a pikeman or something, so they are the way to go if you want to use an infantryman to scout. So look at what's coming out the CC. He's going for 6 here, trying to avoid pop capping. I think he put 7 initially and then messed it up. Right, the women over here have finished on the berries. There is a slight food. Yeah, there we go. They're going to build a farm there. So there was a slight delay. The timings was slightly out. Everybody now piling into food over here. You've got to keep that food level high enough to keep producing female citizens. So he's set it briefly to auto train. That's now switched itself off. Should have enough for more female. Yeah, he's gone for auto train 2 at a time. You can see population at 4 minutes. It's 46, 36 women there. One thing to note, I think we'll put this back down to normal speed so we can actually talk a little bit about what's happened. So utilising all the food that's near the CC, hasn't gone in for fields yet. Alpha 25 seems to be quite generous with the amount of food that's around. Just using the one cavalryman to collect the food nearby. And this is a good place for it. There is food here, and there are also hunt nearby, so short distances, very efficient. We have a a storehouse down here, utilising the second big wood line. There are other wood lines there. They're probably not preferable, and there is an argument for getting rid of all your wood lines nearest your CC. In this instance, there are two plentiful wood lines. You can put a storehouse right next to them, start a parallel line. These will be going for ages. With 5 minutes in, it's also worth noting that Weird Jokes doesn't phase up quickly. He's gone on to fields now just after 5 minutes. He's got a lot of women excess. He's got food coming in, and he's working on fields. You don't want to run out of other food sources before you switch to fields, or you're going to have a shortfall and you're not going to be able to produce the people. That has sort of happened. He's had to put it back to 2. So it's interesting, but there is a steady flow. It's 69 from 5 minutes. That's still probably a good 10 or so population, maybe 20 where you would expect to be. So that's very efficient. It's good. But it is worth absolutely noting, if you're playing against somebody who is looking to rush you and raid you now, I would say from 4.5 minutes up to about now, this is the vulnerable time. There are 10 women there. There are 15 archers, but over this side, 11 women, only a small amount of infantry. First barracks has gone up there, and that's now producing archers. So it's useful. It's useful to have that. He's going to reinforce. He's reinforcing this side, but this is the vulnerable flank. If a raid came in here, you would lose most of those women, no doubt. You could get them into houses. Always a good idea to build houses for them to get into. That would account for the majority of them, but you'd probably lose 1 or 2. So this is the vulnerable time if you're going purely for an eco build. If your opponent gets any wind of it, you could well find raids happening, and raids are difficult because this build is not based on building solid defenses at all. It is about cranking out the units and getting them going. So it looks like Weird Jokes has now pretty much abandoned women. He's got all of his fields up. All of the food that could be collected nearby has been, and the one cavalryman is working his way through the hunt. The food stocks are decent, and it's just a question about spamming out infantry now. So he's got the CC going, but the barracks is also going at the same time. There's always one or the other producing in high numbers, looking to produce between 5 and... Oh, he's gone for 8 here, so he's producing double his population. It's going to absolutely fly. You can see it's 102 now with 7 minutes 35 in. That is another barracks going down, more housing. He's just keeping it within that pop limit. He's actually got a bit of headroom there, but when you're producing that many units at a time, that headroom disappears in a matter of seconds. So keeping the housing going. There's another storehouse being built in there for extra efficiency. If your people get too found out, then you need to build extra ones, otherwise the production and collection time increases. 108 the population now at 8 minutes. 117, it's just jumped. Obviously it's queued up another load. That barracks has now come on stream. That one is producing 6 at a time, and that one is producing individuals. Mining has started. It's gone straight for metal. Now this is probably something more akin to the Carthaginians. It's also worth noting that the Carthaginians have the option of the larger houses too. So if you're using something like the Britons or the Gauls or the Ptolemies, etc., you will probably have to build double houses as and when, because they don't give you the same population capacity as the bigger houses. It's a slight change here. Are they going? Where are they going? they're going to build a house. So it's got a stockpile of metal, and that will obviously be for whatever he is creating. If it needs excess metal, see what it is that he's producing that actually needs all that metal, or is he storing that up for later? Spearman. I think that is just getting a stockpile for further down. Not bothered with stone. So again, this is Civ specific. Still a lot of women on the flanks here, but now masses of infantry being built up. An attack now, you're invulnerable. Nobody should be raiding at this point, or they'll lose everything they've got. So if you can get through that 4 to 9 minute period when you're at your most vulnerable and you don't get attacked, you are laughing with this build. 141 the population, and the infantry now is up to 67. That is 9 minutes 40, so that is pretty good going, and it's just it's focusing on the women in as much as you can produce without going over the pop limit and without running out of resources. So balance is the key to everything. Food and wood need to be almost identically balanced. Stone production now starting. Evidently Weird Jokes has prioritized stone lower than metal for the units he wants to produce later, the buildings he wants to produce later. Phased up and is looking to get these phase 2 buildings down now. Weird Jokes, we didn't cover his phasing up to phase 1, but he tends to go a little bit later. You can phase up incredibly quick in Alpha 25. I've seen people phasing up around about 3 or 4 minutes even. You don't need to phase. It's not a race through the phases, but a pretty lightning phase 2 and having the infrastructure to go with it is very useful. Let's have a look at the technologies that Weird Jokes has researched. In terms of farming, it's up to where he can be maxed out for phase 2. He has got the blacksmith down, but has not started upgrading that yet. The market is down. He's bartering. Do use the market. Keep things in balance. That's the opponent who's actually the AI is using the market. There goes Weird Jokes bartering wood for stone, so boosting that stone level. The emphasis here will be going to phase 3, which he has gone to. No towers or defensive structures at this point. This is not about defense. This is about numbers and time. So 11 minutes in, 179 population, closing in on that 200 limit. That's pretty amazing. So once you get to phase 3, this gives you the option to quickly build a siege workshop, take your infantry and do a flash attack. At this point, let's have a look, see, still no upgrades, so we'll see if upgrades come later. In terms of collection, it's all on the wood upgrades and 1 on the metal upgrade, so hasn't upgraded everything wholesale. Has he taken the population upgrades whenever they were available? Hasn't for this one, so you'd have to say Weird Jokes is just going at an incredible pace. It's going to absolutely push that. Phase, that 200 pop cap limit. You may have to euthanize a few female citizens after this. Another barracks going down, so this will just keep. Yeah, all of these barracks will be set to auto-train, and you know, they will be queued up. There's the fortress. We've reached phase 3. Fortress going down now on 12 minutes 32. Population at 200. Who can you get rid of? You would probably get rid of your excess female citizens, give you capacity to build siege, and you keep your barracks ticking over. If you lose any troops in combat, they are being automatically replaced from all these barracks. There we go. So you just heard the death rattle from a load of female citizens. That's giving him a little bit of capacity.
Yes,
so those women, unfortunately, paid the ultimate price. It's back up to 200, so he might have to bump off a few more somewhere. So there's another 4 there that he could probably murder. What have we got here? There's the siege workshop. Now the barracks. And then we see we've reached the red line there. So the AI is set to very hard but defensive. Population's well down at the moment. So just on sheer numbers, a couple of rams and all of this infantry, which I believe is now being upgraded. Look at this, it's just ripping through the phase 1 upgrades. The arrows are nearly up to the phase 3. Once he's waiting for these to tick over, you can build multiple blacksmiths to force them through in parallel. I think that's what he's done here. Look at this, second blacksmith, and those are the higher level upgrades going in. That is often a recommended tactic. Get 2 blacksmiths down and then they can both be doing different upgrades at the same time. What's he going to do about being pop capped? If he's going to get some siege, maybe a little bit of combat here is going to take place, which might account for a few troops. Any troops you lose, it just frees up the siege workshop to make more siege, basically. So getting kills here. He's not lost anything. I think he's just going to take down numbers, to be honest. There is a possibility of a capture with that number of, with that kind of pop deficits. 10 kills to 0. You can see how efficient this has been. We're not 15 minutes yet. He's gone for a hero elephant. So hero elephant is a very good option if you have a civ that has that. It is basically a siege engine with huge almost invulnerability, and you can plow it in slowly to take down buildings. The AI has responded by sending loads of infantry in. They're going to get killed one at a time by these upgraded troops. The kill death ratio is ridiculous. 27 kills without the loss of anything. 30, it just keeps going up. He will lose one eventually. Still not lost a tree. I mean, this is the very hard AI. People tell me the very hard AI is very hard. It's on defensive. That's as hard as you can get. It is only Britons, which defensively not the best civ. Very good going forward, but not good defending. But he's lost a couple now, so population capacity will open up, and I suspect we will see siege. I don't think he's going to do this all with one hero elephant. But yeah, a kill death ratio of 14-1 at this stage from that build order with those upgrades against the very hard defensive AI. What are we? Just over 15 minutes in, and they're into the territory now. They've not conceded any territory whatsoever. It's a murderous display. Over 100 kills in 16 minutes, not quite. The elephant's going in on the CC. And they're going to get a capture. The elephant is just going to damage that to the point where it's easy to capture. And that's a free CC. They haven't even had to destroy it. So that is the vast majority of the AI's territory gone. They're trying to build a fortress over here. None of this matters because they're going straight for the jugular, I think. And Weird Jokes, I think, has built the Wonder somewhere. Where is that? Seems to have expanded his population up to 220. Let's just see what he's done. Is it because he's captured the extra CC? Not absolutely sure. But he has got extra population capacity there. Here comes a ram. So he's got them queued up again on auto train. As soon as there's any capacity, another one will be coming out. Hero elephant. Where is the hero elephant? Hero elephant's just pressing onwards, going for another CC. So this could be another capture or destruction. I think they're actually... they're going to capture that, aren't they? So he's stopped bulldozing it. Just going to take the territory away from the opponent. And nothing's getting near that. Nothing's getting near that. There goes the CC. We are 17 minutes and 19 in. 145 kills for the loss of just 11, and it's all coming crashing down. Additional rams coming out here, wiping this out. And the AI is down to a population of 18. Any human opponent would have long since resigned at this point. So... yeah, it's just literally clean-up operation here. There's one tower with a couple of troops in it. That can be taken down. They probably got enough for a capture there, to be perfectly honest. And, you know, as if As if the defeat was not crushing enough as it was. Yeah, they've got it straight away. A couple of units to kill. And it's odd red dots on the map that you're looking for. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. But that is all that is all you'd have to do against a human opponent. So pretty devastating performance. What have we learned? We have learned balance is key in the early game. Food and wood balance, absolutely critical. You don't want an excess of one because you will have a deficit of the other. You want them purely in balance. If your civ has basically buildings that rely heavily on metal, get metal first when you switch to mining. Likewise, some have a preference for stone. Do your research on your civ, see what you're likely to need in phase 2 to get you to phase 3. That will be critical. And early on, the switch to farming. If you have additional food sources around, get farms next to them, get the hunt that's near those farms, put the farm specifically near the hunt. Utilize as much of it as you can within your immediate boundary. And while you've got people still collecting and you have a food income coming in, then switch to the fields. Do not do one, finish, and then switch to the other. By the time your farming is up and running, you will have run out of food and you will not be able to maintain the kind of production that we saw in this game. So that is pretty much it. The game would end. There's one woman over there. That is the population of 1. They're hiding and they'll find them eventually. But that is pretty much it. An efficient, fast eco build with the caveat that you have to be careful between minutes 4 and about 9 because you will have a higher proportion of female citizens at that point. You will be open to raiding. You can mitigate that with the building of sentry towers and by slightly tweaking it so you've got some infantry in the right places. Spear pikemen are quite good at repelling the cavalry, or loads and loads of ranged infantry. But let's just have a look at the summary there and just see how Weird Jokes reached that. So it reached a total population of 250. I think there may have been a wonder involved, but it is important to keep an eye that when you're reaching pop max that you do allow yourself enough capacity to produce siege if you need it at the end. In terms of units trained, you can see round about, well, that's going to be round about the 1st or 2nd minute. Weird Jokes absolutely put his foot down with it and it just increased almost like exponentially through. Typical players, like I can keep it going in a line faster than the AI, but I cannot get anywhere near that. So it's easier said than done. But if you can keep that food and wood balance and you can keep on top of the production, don't just rely on the auto train. The auto train will stop or it will not produce enough at the right time. If you manually time it, you can get the odd boost of 6 or 7 troops coming out. And as soon as you get a barracks on stream, you have to have enough production to keep both of those going round about 4, 5, sometimes even 6 to 7 as we saw in parallel all the time. It gets a bit easier with multiple barracks, but you could scale that up as well. And then if you have 3 or 4 barracks producing that number, then your production must be perfect. And if your production is perfect, you will hit that kind of result. Anyway, that is the economy build. It's an interesting one. It is the kind of stock bread and butter. If you know you're playing up against a new player who's not likely to raid you, producing like that, more or less round about 15 minutes, will give you a huge population advantage. And you could probably just wander down there and cripple them with all your infantry at that point. If you want to go the whole shebang over the knockout blow, get your siege going as well. So that is one take on a good economy build. If you're watching this and you've got your own take on it, a different order, maybe a more efficient order, we'll have a look. Let's just have a look at population, see roughly where we could approximate where Weird Jokes was in population by a certain amount of time. It never gives you sort of even blocks of time there. By about 6 minutes, Weird Jokes was hitting 80. So in previous alphas, it's been trying to hit the magical 100 by 10 minutes, therefore breaking it down, your population into, you start with 9, so you get a bit of a head start. But getting 20 ahead of the timing, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And around about 12 minutes, he was pushing 130, 140, maybe 150. It was, he hit 160 there. That would have been around about 10 minutes. So, I mean, that is fast. That is definitely very quick. And as long as nobody throws a spanner in the works and raids you, you are in a fantastic position to win a match that quickly. We've seen it 20 minutes, under 20 minutes against the AI, and a human player, if, the first sign of a dozen rams coming over the horizon, that would be curtains. I think you'd get resignations well early. So you could be winning matches in under 15 minutes with this, providing you don't get attacked early on. So that is the challenge. But if you have an economy build order, or maybe if you have an economy build order that takes security a bit more seriously, maybe puts up towers, maybe adds slightly more infantry for the exchange of population numbers overall, we'd love to see them. If you can submit a replay, we basically want your chosen civ, playing on either a medium or a small, I suppose it'd be a normal or a small mainland map, just for comparison purposes. Choose a biome that you like. It would be good to see examples on a biome where there's, say, less natural wood at the beginning, and you have to be a bit more conservative about where you go. So different variations and scenarios. I'd love to see your take on the economy build order, and when you're going for a solid approach and more or less that you're not going to get attacked early on. That would be fantastic. Send them in, set it to a defensive, very hard AI, and we'll see how you do, and we can add that for future episodes. There will be different variations. It's one of the good things about Zero AD is there are lots of different ways of doing this. That's it for the sort of the boring economy build order. We get a bit more exciting next time. We are going to look at a variation of the Cav Rush. Going forward, we've also got one on variations of infantry rushes as well. Massive thanks to Weird Jokes for providing this. I sought him out because he's submitted so many games and supported the channel so much. I thought, who better to help out than a really efficient player? So massive thanks to Weird Jokes, and you'll be seeing more of his build orders in the coming weeks. But we want to see some of yours as well, so do get them submitted. All of the submission details is the same for submitting a game. Just submit a replay to the email address that's in the video description. Send it over to me, I'll check it out, and this will be an ongoing series. These are nice and easy and short to produce, so you will see quite often a lot of variations of build orders. Moving on, we're going to also look at some of the more exotic ones, like how you would configure a build order early on, say if you want to take advantage of a Civ's Phase 2 champions, like Naked Fanatics for the Gauls, or Security Commandos for the Spartans, all of those kinds of things. There are a lot of variations that we can do. And we may even try and break it down by specific civs if we get time and we get enough submissions. But I'm relying on you guys to send me some stuff. I'd love to see submissions, and would really like to see your own personal takes on the build order. We're all going to learn a lot from this, I think. I know I have already. So I'll see you in the next one. It's Cav Rushes. Look out for it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to be notified of future episodes. If you'd like one of your matches featured on the show, see the video description of how you can submit your replays. And if you can't wait for the next episode, then why not check out these playlists in the end titles for more replays, commentary, and tutorials on Zero AD Newbie Rush. I'll see you in the next video.